Madam Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Chiefs Dangote, Atiku, and Peter Obi, please stop the colonial dogmas of investments without private property rights. Before 2008, over 70% of foreign direct investments in China came from Chinese people in diaspora. This is because after the brutal land reforms by Mao Zedong, subsequent regimes from 1980s stabilized land and property rights to attract the Chinese industrialists in Western societies to invest back home. The stable influx of investment from this Chinese diaspora created the confidence for non-Chinese investors to believe, invest, and freely compete in China's growth and pride. Like Madam Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Peter Obi, and Atiku, Dangote recently intensified calls for Nigerians to invest in manufacturing so that Nigeria can industrialize, compete with developed nations, and raise our people's standard of living. However, when people see how easily government can wipe out people's investments, just like the landmark beach resort and other thousands of investments across Nigeria, their confidence for such a long-term investment disappears. Then they resort to faster importation cycle to buy, sell, and quickly recoup profits. Nigeria's system is a system of armed robbery, which was imposed by colonial decree and guns for exploiting resources for the colonialists using the Land Expropriation Law of 1885. This is the colonial law that was fixed to Nigerian government at independence for them to seize people's lands and resources, block industrial growth, and make people compete for foreign products and positions. Yet, as Dangote rightly said, Nigerians need to be manufacturing industrial products like machines, vehicles, chemicals, electronics, and other non-perishable products. Developing such industries to become competitive requires not only extensive capital and time, but also a mixture of 5 elements, which are: 1. Long-term security of investment from a stable dictatorship or private property rights from strong institutions in a society with constant regime change. 2. Highly skilled and motivated workers to run their operations. 3. Stable and close network of supporting industries for various stages of production. 4. Viable consumers to steadily and sufficiently buy the products. 5. A good story or branding about the culture of the product and society in order to captivate investors. Unfortunately, Nigeria does not have any of these elements, especially the most basic one, which is security of investment, and this has kept Nigeria dependent on importation since independence. Dangote may not feel the threat to such long-term investments due to his government connections. For when Kogi government came for his investment in Kogi State, he simply called his political allies, including President Buhari, to intervene. Unfortunately, other people do not have the same protection that he does in a colonially malformed system that can hijack their investments or block their access to industrial resources in favor of foreign industries. So, the main attraction for investment in manufacturing is not just a personal assurance of support and protection in a colonially extractive system, but the establishment of a system where individuals and communities can own, protect, and use their lands and resources to produce and trade what they want without needing political connections, while governments focus on regulation, tax, infrastructure, and defense, like in America. Thus, just as we asked Catholic bishops to withhold electoral support for this colonial system of armed robbery, we ask Madam Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Chiefs Dangote, Atiku, Peter Obi, and other noble Nigerians to support in rallying Nigerians for a Restart National Conference. This conference is for the various communities in Nigeria to discuss and change this colonial system by recognizing the various communities and individuals' lands as their freehold private property, and to create a 4-year cultural destiny contest for people to compete as communities, states, and nations in manifesting the products, services, and noble ways of life from their environment, instead of competing for foreign products and positions. Establishing this private property system and cultural destiny contest is the most vital project to unite, prosper, and liberate Nigeria and Africa from neocolonialism. This will create the socio-economic stability, global dignity, and legacy for the present and future generation of Nigerians and Africans in the world, and also distinguish you in history as the forerunners of the free, united, and prosperous Nigeria and Africa. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless Nigeria, Africa, and the world. Please go to restartniger.org and sign the petition for the National Conference.